Hey everyone, this is Jen Polson here on my Facebook Live every Wednesday at 12:30 Central Standard Time. Welcome. If you are new, if you're watching this video on YouTube for the first time, seeing me, just welcome. I'm an energy coach. I help people overcome the things that are holding them back, those blocks, those subconscious blocks and fears and doubts and worries. Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Hey Robin, hey Kirsten. So today I want to talk about a couple different things really quick. And what I want to talk about first is the title of my video here called Less Proving and More Living. And one of the things that I notice a lot just in my life in general in the past, and a lot of times with I encounter this with my clients too, is they're worrying about doing enough. They're worrying about living up to somebody's expectations. Hey you guys, welcome. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about how destructive that can be to our everyday happiness when we're trying to prove ourselves, prove that we're good enough, prove that we're worthy of someone's love or kindness or friendship. And when we get into sometimes those habits or those patterns are developed from early childhood, kind of depending on what your parenting, how your parents parented you, right? And so one of the things that I'm a big proponent of is not living in your past, not blaming your past, using your past as a stepping stone to help you create what you want to create and get outside of the old patterns, the old ways of believing, the old things that have been keeping you stuck for a long time. And so one of those things is feeling like we have to prove ourselves instead of just embracing who we are and embracing our gifts and talents. And thanks Jan, love that. Embracing our gifts and talents, embracing what our individual purpose is. So another thing that can kind of keep us distracted from just living our lives is comparing ourselves to other people. That's a big one. That really gets us distracted from just showing up as our best selves. We worry about what someone else is doing, or they're more successful, or what are they doing to be successful, and instead of looking inside of yourself, instead of seeing what you're capable of, we get distracted and worrying about what someone else is doing or what someone else isn't doing. That can be a distraction as well. So what do you think you can do today to let go of trying to prove your worth and just show up as your best self? Just think about that for a second. What do you see yourself doing? Do you say I'm sorry a lot? Are you apologizing for everything? That's one symptom of trying to prove that you're okay, is always being apologetic. I'm not talking about when you've hurt somebody unintentionally and you need to apologize, but even something as simple as, which parking space do I choose? Do I have to get everybody's agreement that's in the car? Or when you're going out to eat, do you have to make sure that everybody's happy with your decision when everybody said, go ahead, it's your turn to choose? Things like that keep us feeling insecure. So just kind of watch what you do. Are you not taking action because you think that if you can't do it perfectly, that you can't do it at all, or it shouldn't be done at all? That's a symptom of having to prove yourself, prove that you're enough. And really, by taking action and making mistakes occasionally, that's how we learn and grow. Okay, the trick is not to beat yourself up about it. Okay, so when we let go of these thought patterns of not being enough and beating ourselves up for not doing things perfectly or not living up to somebody else's expectations, when we can let those go, oh my gosh, you can like take off in your life. You can do what you're meant to do. Okay, so I wanted to share that with you. Really be conscious, pay attention this week to showing up and living your life and not trying to prove yourself, just showing up as you. It's a blessing. You'll bless the world when you do that. Okay, the second thing I wanted to talk to you about really quick is something that I talk to my clients about a lot. And people ask me, okay, how does your work work? You know, what is energy coaching? What is that? And so I wanted to explain really quick, like we have our subconscious brain and we have our conscious brain, okay? Our conscious brain is, our subconscious brain is in charge of about 95% of what's going on in our daily lives. So if you are in a pattern of things falling apart all the time, or you can never make enough money, or you're in a lot of conflict with your relationships all the time, there are subconscious belief systems going on that are playing out, that are causing these disruptions and causing this pain in your life, okay? So one of the things that happens when you do work with me is that we figure out where those subconscious blocks are, and then we change them from negative to positive. Sounds pretty good, right? It has changed my life, and it has changed the lives of hundreds of people that I've worked with over the years. And so I want to give you an example of what I call a subconscious hijacking, okay? And I got permission from a client of mine to share this example because this was so perfect. So this particular client of mine is, hey you guys, thanks for coming on. She's building a business, okay? And she has left the corporate world so that she can have it all. She wants to be able to spend time with her kids and be available for her kids, and she also wants to grow this business. And so she has just taken a leap of faith, and she's been working on this for a while, and her husband's totally supportive, right? But what happens is she gets these fears about money that happen. And she looks at the bank account, and she is noticing, that it's not as full as she would like it to be. And so she has all of these fears and doubts about her ability to be successful in her business. And so then what she does is she starts looking for another job. She starts looking for a full-time job or a part-time job or some kind of outside job. And before you know it, she's spent hours and hours of time looking for this other job that she thinks is going to give her, the security. Hey, Justina. And then she's lost time working with her business that she wants to build. And so even she was shared with me too that her husband is even like, what are you doing? You're totally capable of doing this business. People love you. You know how to connect with people. You know how to share your heart. And so when we were talking about that the other day and clearing some blocks around that, I was able to point out to her, your subconscious totally took over. And that is really typical, okay? It's what our subconscious does. It wants to keep us what we think is safe. And what our subconscious thinks is safe is doing the same thing over and over and over again, going for that security, even if it doesn't make us happy, even if it takes us away from our families, even if it takes us, robs us of our time, like if we're spending lots of time commuting back and forth. Anything that that takes you away from what your heart really wants, from what your heart is leaning towards, what you want to create, that kind of zoning out and realizing that you've taken like hours and hours of time away from your dream, that is your subconscious checking out, checking you out, making you go into this zone of not even paying attention to what you really, really want. So think about, what kinds of things you're spending time on that are not allowing you to work towards your goals and your dreams. Think about that. I'm going to give you another quick example of subconscious hijacking. So a lot of times people want to get healthy, and they want to get on these food, they want to eat healthier, they want to have a healthy lifestyle. So they're going along, and they're cutting out sugar, and they're exercising every day, and then something happens and they get triggered and they get upset. And then what happens is that all of a sudden they're standing in front of the pantry door and they have this bag of chips, and when they look down, the bag is half empty, and they realize, oh my gosh, I just ate a half a bag of chips. And I didn't even, how did I do that? What happened? That is a perfect example of your subconscious hijacking your conscious brain and what you really want to create. And so we have to start paying attention to those times where we feel like we're zoning out, like on social media, zoning out with food, zoning out in activities that aren't bringing us closer to what we really want. And when we recognize that, that helps us step in our power. It helps us have a choice to do something different. And so if you find yourself in this situation a lot, whether it's with your eating, whether it's with your, hi Larnell, hey Samantha, hey Mary, if you find yourself in this situation where you are like doing things and you don't even know why you're doing them, I'm going to invite you to be more conscious about that. And I'm going to give you a couple things that you can do when that happens. So first of all, like take a breath. Stop what you're doing, take a breath. If you guys know that I love essential oils, and I'm building my own essential oils team now. One thing that I highly recommend is Melaleuca or tea tree oil. I love doTERRA. That's what I use. doTERRA essential oils are super pure, and I totally trust them. And so what you can do is use Melaleuca. Melaleuca will help you to release any like emotional overwhelm that might keep you in a triggered state. Okay, so I recommend putting it on the back of your neck, put it over your heart, put it on your solar plexus, which is your power center. That's a couple inches above your belly button. You just need a drop. Super powerful. It will be something that you can do to help kind of wake you up. Okay. Another oil that I love when I'm feeling stressed out or triggered, and it's easy for me to kind of go in that zone out mode, is wintergreen. Okay. Wintergreen is that oil of like surrender. And so I always have that intention. I'm going to surrender this habit. I'm going to surrender these negative feelings. I'm going to surrender to God. I'm going to give my junk to Him. I'm going to surrender my frustration and just forgive myself and other people. It's a really powerful way to help just wake you up in that moment. So if you notice those patterns happening over and over again, like here's another example, like if you make some money, above and beyond what you were going to make, and all of a sudden, you've spent all the extra and you don't even know what you spent it on. It was just, stuff you really didn't need, but there was this compulsion to just spend the money. that's a really strong indication that there's some subconscious beliefs going on about you not feeling like you're worthy and deserving of having that money. And our money blocks are like, they're powerful. We can get rid of them, and that's what I love to help people do. So, just pay attention to those patterns, of when you're kind of zoning out, and wake up. Use those moments to wake up. So you can use those oils to help release emotional overwhelm and to surrender the habit or the thinking. And the next step that's really important, and I know you guys have heard me say this before, is just forgive yourself. Like, just forgive yourself for whatever it is. Forgive yourself for eating the half a bag of chips or the half a carton of ice cream, or forgive yourself for spending your money on something stupid. Okay? Forgive yourself for zoning out on Facebook for a couple hours or whatever it is for you, instead of doing something that's getting you closer to your goals and your dreams. So just start with forgiving yourself. That is the quickest way to kind of snap out of that kind of head fog, that haze that we get in sometimes. Okay, so let's go ahead. Does anyone have any questions for me? I did have a question from a client recently that said, is it normal for after you have an energy coaching session for things to feel like they're falling apart a little bit? And I wanted to explain that. A lot of times when we're moving forward and taking steps to improve our lives, we have this resistance that comes up. And I want you to know that that's okay. Sometimes that's normal. And what we can do is use that to help you keep moving forward. So a lot of times what happens is, something as positive is working out, you get some extra money, or you've done really great on your eating, and you have a little trigger that comes up, and then it can send you back. So you feel like you're taking steps backwards. If you can realize that those moments are there to wake you up to, changing, making a conscious choice to change your pattern. Okay? We can't change unless we're awake and aware of what's going on. Let's see. Angela says, at my parents this week, Dad has dementia, Mom is doing all she can, so many emotions. Yeah, that is a really difficult situation. I get that. I think the most important thing for you to do, Angela, is definitely keep your Melaleuca on. Get Melaleuca on your parents. Help them do something to help relieve some of that emotional overwhelm. And sometimes words don't do it. Sometimes they don't. So of course I'm going to, invite you to pray about that and ask for that divine help. And then that Melaleuca essential oil, the wintergreen, is really great. Keep that on yourself and keep that on your parents, so all of you can be benefiting from that energetic boost that essential oils can give you. Diffusing oils as well in a situation that's stressful like that is going to be amazing. So you could diffuse, let me check in really quick. Wild orange, citrus bliss, doTERRA has peace oil. Those kinds of oils are going to be really great to diffuse in stressful situations. So whether your stress is at home, whether it's at work, whatever it is, diffusing is amazing. If you have questions about that, contact me and I can help you more with that. Okay, Justina, you may have discussed before I got on, but boundaries. Okay, so the pattern of allowing people to cross boundaries is one that's really going to like deplete your energy. And we did talk about, I'm glad you brought that up, Justina, because we talked earlier about less proving and more living. And so ask yourself, if you're a person that allows people to cross boundaries, like you're taking on too much, you're trying to fix everything for everybody, like what is behind that? You know, are you trying to prove that you're enough to everybody else, that you feel like you have to take on everybody's stuff? Okay, and when you realize like how amazing you are, how much worth you have, then you'll feel less inclined to fix everybody else's stuff and allow everybody else the space to learn and grow. Because when we take on everybody's stuff, then we're actually robbing them of their own growth, of their own ability to understand like that they can do it, that they can accomplish it. Now, the trick is to let go of the expectation of how they do that. So a lot of times, especially when we're in leadership positions, we have more experience, we want things done a certain way, but not everybody's there yet. Not everybody has the same work ethic, not everybody sees things the same way, not everybody has the same, what's the word I want, like the same passion or sense of urgency. That's what I really wanted to say. Not everybody has the same sense of urgency that you may have. And so you've got to learn how to let some of those things go. And wintergreen on your shoulders, really great for that, helping you with those boundaries. Melaleuca is a good boundary oil as well. Okay, Gail says, this subject is just what I needed right now. Boundaries, having to reinforce them. I'm not really sure what your situation there is, Gail, but I also really taking on the understanding that as we set boundaries up, we allow other people to learn and grow. Okay, it's not like we're shutting people out. It's not like we're trying to be mean, saying, no, I'm not going to do this part of your job or whatever. But it's allowing people the gift of their own space to learn and grow, make their own mistakes. It's okay. You know, sometimes we get this idea that making mistakes or failing is bad, but it's not. It's how we learn and grow. And the bad thing is when we beat ourselves up for making a mistake. That's bad, because all that does is distract us from moving forward. Okay, so everyone take a breath. Let's just release any patterns there about taking on too much stuff. Okay, taking on what's not really yours to take on. So take a big breath on that. Let's just release that. Okay, excellent. Good comments, you guys. All right, well, I just want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your comments and your questions. If you have any additional questions about the work that I do as an energy coach or with essential oils, please feel free to reach out. You can find me at, on my Facebook page at Jennifer Hales Polson. You can find me on Instagram at Jen Polson. You can find me on my website at jenpolson.com, and you can message me there if you have any additional questions. If you are interested in, furthering your own personal growth and getting into some coaching, we've got some groups that are opening right now, and I have a few spots for individual coaching available, so you're welcome to do that. If you know someone that could benefit from this message or any of the other messages that I have on YouTube or on my Facebook, please feel free to share it, forward it on. And my hope is that you've come away a little bit inspired and also with a new perspective about why you feel stuck sometimes, and also a hope that you don't have to stay there, that you have support, that there's help, there's a way out, there's a way to actually get moving in your life, moving forward, doing more amazing things than you ever imagined that you could. So, all right, you guys, thanks for being here. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.